Siomra Beag.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Sure Look, Sure Listen, the podcast that takes a pop at culture. Sure Look, Sure Listen.
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 Sure look, sure listen. Very good, Benjamin. We are once again deep into the early February, late January doldrums, and there is almost deep into it, Ben.
Deep.
We're so deep. We're way beyond the balls deep, Ben. We're chin deep. We're chin deep into the February doldrums, and we've nothing to talk about.
We're wading through a thick molasses of pure nothing.
Pure nothing whatsoever. But sure, look, Ben, that's not going to stop us from talking about the new Sony's extended efforts to alienate every fan they've ever had, Ben. Also, we'll be taking a look at Peacemaker episode 6, and then we'll probably have to think of something else to fill some time. It'll be a tangent.
Sure, listen, Michael, don't worry. If you haven't thought of anything to fill the time, we're also going to be taking a look at Solarpunk, the relatively new genre sweeping the youth of today, Michael, perhaps providing false hope for a future, or perhaps the exact antidote we need to climate anxiety and depression. Who's to say? Let's find out on the podcast today.
I'm not to say, Ben, because I've never heard of it.
Yes, well, that's what makes you such a strong co-host, Michael. You really just sit back and let me do a lot of the research. It's great.
Yeah. I mean, ignorance is a virtue, Ben. Benjamin.
Yes, you're lucky you're funny.
Speaking of ignorance being a virtue, Benjamin.
Yeah.
I bloody know more stuff than you son of a bitch. Speaking of ignorance being a virtue, Ben.
Yeah.
It's never bloody stopped Sony being ignorant from making, for some reason, billion-dollar films.
Yeah, look, we have an old saying here in Ireland, Michael, which is it's better to be silent and have people think you're a fool than open your mouth and confirm it. And Sony's never heard that one, have they?
That was one of the original draft names for this podcast, Ben.
Yeah.
It's just going to be an hour of silence every Monday morning.
Where people will come away saying, God, those lads, they're
very
sharp.
wise.
They're sharp.
Very wise. Very wise. Benjamin.
Yeah.
We have both thoroughly enjoyed Dr. Michael Morbius, the film.
Yes, because it's been on time, it's come out, and surprisingly, Jared Leto wasn't insufferable.
We're doing a mirror universe, Ben. We haven't seen it. It's not out because it keeps getting postponed.
Yeah, because it's shite.
Benjamin.
Yeah.
I have a theory about why it's been postponed.
Go on.
I reckon it's been postponed because they have to go back now and they have to remove all the MCU stuff that they put in it, thinking that the merger of the universes would be permanent.
Do you reckon?
I genuinely do reckon. I have a feeling, Ben. I have a feeling they're going back and removing Michael Keaton's Vulture.
I think we probably won't see him. Do you think Marvel really did it that well, Michael? Do you think they were like, look, we'll let those dopes over at Sony think that we're giving them a mixed universe? We'll just write it out quickly.
They sent Michael Keaton over and they said, Michael, are you in for a prank? And he went, Michael Keaton doesn't really have a distinctive voice, does he? He said, yes, I am.
Yes. Michael Keaton, trained actor. I'm always up for a bit of banter.
I love a prank. I love pretending to rob someone and then going, it's a prank, bro.
Michael, of course, we aren't talking about Michael Morbius because that wouldn't be the point. But we've gotten some really weird news today.
Straight out of Ben, what the Americans call left field, which I believe is a baseball metaphor.
Straight out of left field, Michael. What we got is, Madam Web is going to be coming to the screen.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
good.
Obviously, everybody at home now is just leaping for joy as beloved and well-known, internationally adored character Madam Web will be gracing the silver screen. We all know her.
Everybody knows her. She's like, hello, all of you spiders mens. I need you all to team up for something interdimensional.
Yeah, so there's a couple of places you might know Madam Web from. Number
that
one,
club you go to in Berlin.
Yeah, that's the one, and you need the special password, and you have to sign the non-disclosure agreement, and all kinds of things. Michael.
Yeah, you'll be in trouble if you say any more.
Yeah, exactly. And where you might actually know her from is the Spider-Man animated series back in the 90s.
Hello, Peter. Don't worry, there are millions of Peters.
Yeah, so Madam Web was the walking epilepsy fit that would pop up on the screen every once in a while and trigger Peter's spider sense, and we get all kinds of little cool UV light spray paint effects, and then Madam Web would be there in her big webby chair.
A big webby chair, Ben. A big webby throne.
Yeah, and she was just mad unhelpful for poor old Peter. That was usually the trope of it. It was like, oh, let me speak in riddles, even though the fate of the universe hangs in the balance, Peter.
Something is going to happen to one of your loved ones called Mary Jane, or maybe it isn't.
Maybe. Peter, but I had to give you the choice in order for you to be a hero. To which Peter was just like, do you know what? You're some Elba.
I'm fucking sick of this.
Fucking
Absolutely sick to death of this fucking interdimensional webby chair bullshit.
Get fucked.
Get out of here, you... Where are your legs? He says.
So she has a condition in the comics, and I can't remember exactly what it's called. Let me see if I can find it here.
Lack of legitis, I believe.
Lack of legitis is correct. No, but in the comics, Michael, she's a mutant.
Oh, is she?
Yes, she was introduced in the 1980s. Cassandra Webb is her name.
Of course it is.
Yeah, because why would you stretch? So Denny O'Neil came up with her, so that's not that shocking that we kind of got that. Denny O'Neil came up with that. She has psionic powers, is what they're described as, Michael.
Oh, that's what mind powers were called in the 80s then.
Yeah, so she's a gifted intellect. She has telepathy and clairvoyance and precognition, Michael, which is why she's always turning up going, Peter, something bad may or may not happen.
To Mary Jane or someone else.
Or someone else that you care about. Perhaps Aunt May or Mary Jane or, that's really it, because that's all we've given you. But yes.
Yes.
So she was born in Salem, Oregon, Michael. Classic.
Classic witch trials, Ben.
And she was originally stricken with something called myasthenia gravis, which is a long-term neuromuscular disease that leads to varying degrees of skeletal muscle weakness.
Yeah, lack of legs.
A little bit like that, Michael. Now, what's interesting about that, Michael, is she's always been depicted as a much senior citizen.
She's an Elwyn. She's half spidery Elwyn, half sperm.
Yeah, so that's probably why it's weird that they've cast Dakota Johnson to play her in the bloody film.
Your favourite actress and mine, Ben, Dakota Johnson.
I don't think it's anybody's favourite actress, is it?
Yeah, people loved her in what was she in again?
60 Shades of Age.
There's a motel and everyone's murderers or whatever.
What was that?
Was she in that? Was she in that?
There's a hotel and everyone's murderers. Oh yeah, it's a classic. Yeah, it was something at the El Royale. Good Times at the El Royale or something.
That one. Was she in
that? That was a great film, Michael. That didn't get enough respect in its time.
Yeah, I didn't even remember its name, Ben, but you raved about the performance of one Dakota Johnson.
No, I didn't. That's a lie.
You did. You loved it. You loved her in I'm a Sad Mother and Olivia Colman Keeps Stalking Me.
I think that's just life, isn't it?
It's out now. I can't remember what it's called.
Motherhood, I think, is what it's called. I think it's a very simple name. Yeah, she's tipped for an Oscar again. Is Olivia
tipped
Colman?
For an Oscar?
Tipped for an Oscar.
Yeah, it's not Olivia Colman who's been cast as Madam Web, although that probably would have been better.
That would have made more sense. I would have watched the fuck out of that. That makes kind of sense. That would be enjoyable. I would like to see.
I'll watch Dakota Johnson as.
We had a little hiccup there, but yeah, you'd watch Dakota Johnson as what?
As Madam Web, Ben. Is she going to be a sexy Madam Web?
I assume so. Is it going to be a Madam Web origin that nobody ever asked for?
Excellent. I hope so.
Well, it's a bit like it's a bit like making an entire film out of, I don't know, another obscure Spider-Man character like
Morbius.
Yeah, that'd be weird, wouldn't it? If we got a Michael Morbius film, and you'd probably cast someone equally, kind of not maligned, but also not beloved. Someone I don't know, like Jared Leto.
Hold on a second. Are you saying that Dakota Johnson, Hollywood darling Dakota Johnson, is maligned?
I don't think she's maligned, but she's misliked because of her little turn in 50 Shades of Grey, Michael, I think.
I don't know, Ben. I think that might be your own prejudice.
Oh, it could be. I'm full of it,
I think,
as you know,
Michael. You're full
Michael.
of prejudice, Ben. Yeah, I think Dakota Johnson is quite beloved these days.
All right, well, I take it all back then.
Yeah. I've been on PerezHilton.com. And,
yes.
Big fans of Dakota Johnson over there.
Oh, well, that's good.
Me and the gang.
You and the gang at PerezHilton.com.
Yeah, me and the gang at PerezHilton.com, which may or may not still exist. We're big Dakota Johnson fans. But the weird thing about it is, what would it take to get Sony to stop doing Spider-Man films without Spider-Man in them?
Michael, they have the golden goose for making Spider-Man films if they really want to, and it's called Into the Spider-Verse. And it works. Like, I don't know why you would muck around with that. There's a perfect introduction. I think first of all, I think Madam Web is going to be in the sequel, Across the Spider-Verse.
Played by Dakota Johnson, by Hollywood darling Dakota Johnson.
Maybe?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think so. Because all the news has pointed to a solo film, Michael.
A solo Madam Web film.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's mad, Ben.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's mad. It's really strange. I don't get it. I don't get what they're doing.
Yeah, neither do I.
Ben,
Yes.
it's not going to happen.
No, probably not.
It's not going to happen.
It's
It's
gonna
going to
end up-
happen like the Silver Sable film and the Black Cat film and the every other film. Morbius is the weird outlying anomaly that managed to happen for some reason.
Yeah, just Jared Leto sent a lot of dead animals to the producers and was like, I'll stop if you make the film.
I'll stop if you make a film. I want to be a flying scientist vampire man.
Yeah. So, look, they have a perfect model for introducing all these obscure Spider-Man characters, and it's the Across the Spider-Verse film, or any other Spider-Verse films, because I think it's fair to say, Michael, that those have been the most successful Spider-Man property, barring No Way, which one? Something Home?
Yes, but they haven't been. Every single Spider-Man film that's ever been released has been a success.
Yeah, but have they, though?
Yes.
You know,
I mean, financially, yes.
In a deeply philosophical sense, though.
In a deeply philosophical sense, no, Ben. I would say only No Way Home has been actually good.
Thank God for that.
Because it had 3 Spider-Men in it.
3 Spider-Man.
3 Spider-Man.
That's a
And
lot of
unlike that one,
Spider-Man.
unlike that one with the diverse cast of characters, they were all middle-aged white dudes.
Yep.
And that was good for us, Ben, because we saw ourselves represented in it.
Which we don't often get to see, Michael.
We don't see it very often, Ben. You were saying that about Avengers. I think this needs more middle-aged white men on it.
Yeah, I just really didn't like the one female character in Avengers.
Yeah.
I felt that it was pandering, Michael.
Are you telling me, Ben, that in reality women make up 1/6 of the population? Because I don't believe that. Because if they did, I'd see more of them around.
More of them would probably talk to me, Michael, if that were the case.
Yeah, I'd see them for sure. So I know that's not true.
So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Cooks and Fucks, where we take a look at what's wrong with the world through casting and cinema. Anyway, Michael, speaking of something that we absolutely love and is actually full of interesting diversity used in an effective way, come here to me.
Ben, I've just got a text from Spotify. Our listeners have tripled in the last 5 minutes for some reason.
They're offering us an exclusive contract, Michael. I have the email here.
We've got a partnership deal with Spotify all of a sudden, Ben.
Excellent.
Non-negotiable, it says.
Hang on, Donald Trump wants to have a quick call. He wants to do a guest appearance. Hold on. We'll get that set up.
Very good.
Sure, listen. Sure, look.
Go on.
Come here to
Yeah.
me. Come here to me.
That's it. That's what the podcast's called.
Yeah. Did you see the latest episode of Peacemaker?
Benjamin,
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says, it's the best program on television.
It is, hands down. Who's saying otherwise?
No, I don't think anyone is, but I don't care because I wouldn't be listening to them anyway.
Yeah, okay. Because I was going to say we'll send Vigilante around to their house, get that sorted.
Send Vigilante around, Ben. Send Peacemaker around. I tell you what I did do though.
What?
My good lady friend has been thoroughly enjoying Peacemaker, Benjamin, and she hadn't seen the Suicide Squad, so we watched the Suicide Squad last night.
Great.
And it really made me feel again, it's the best job that anyone has ever done of having a TV show and a movie that work together.
It's a match made in heaven, Michael. It flows beautifully.
Oh, it flows beautifully, Ben. It's on a totally different scale. And it's like, it doesn't feel the same. But Peacemaker is in that movie fully formed.
Yeah, no, he's all there. He's all there.
He comes out fully formed, Ben. It has one of the funniest scenes in superhero movies of all time, where Amanda Waller says each of you has been chosen for your own unique set of skills. And then she introduces Peacemaker with the exact same set of skills that Bloodsport had, and that is just hilarious.
To which Bloodsport goes, what? You just...
Yeah, you're taking the piss. That's
Yeah.
my thing.
One of my favorite scenes from that film, Michael, is the competition between Peacemaker and Bloodsport, where they're keeping score. I just think it's a beautifully shot action scene. I just think it's done very well.
Very good, Benjamin. Very good. Very good film. And Peacemaker comes out of it fully formed. It's just a Peacemaker origin story, Ben. It's great.
Yeah, this bloody show, Michael. I did not
Yes.
realize how much it had made me care about some of those characters.
Yeah, the spoilers obviously for episode 6, Benjamin. The poor old police gang. They got a bit hard done by.
What is going on there, Michael? To say that I was taken aback by the twists and
Yes.
turns in this episode. So, I think this might be the penultimate episode. Is it? I
I
think.
don't think so. I think
So is it
might
2
be
more?
8.
Are we getting 2? We're
I
getting
think it might be 8.
tied
I-
8.
I
Okay.
honestly don't know, Ben. I'll check. I'll check for you while you
Okay.
do your wheels about why
So
it's great.
if we do a full spoiler free kind of thing very, very quickly, this show has delivered us a motley crew, Michael, of characters from lots of different backgrounds with lots of varying states of mental health. It's given us a great weird little alien, a new weird little alien that we can all be afraid of, called
Yeah,
the butterfly.
from your mouth.
Yeah, it's really hard. And one of the things that the show does very well is it treads that fine line between serious and humor a lot of the time, so that it flicks between the two of them. And when it does happen, you go, "Oh Jesus! Oh, okay, we're being serious
Oh,
again.
no.
Oh wait, oh there's a bit of levity. Okay, whew, ah." And one of the things that we did when it came to the butterflies, Michael, was they were a bit silly once they were defeated. They're
'Cause
tiny.
They were just little tiny flappy fellas
Yeah, they're tiny little flappy fellas.
in a jar.
But come here to me, Michael. Holy fuck! This episode.
Very horrific.
Horrific little creatures.
Oh, very horrific. You don't want them anywhere near you.
Yeah, so in this episode, we lost the intrepid police character known as Sophie, Detective Sophie.
All of them.
Yeah,
all of them.
We lost all of them by the end of the episode. But I have to say, that scene where Sophie is taken by Goff, oh,
No use.
Michael,
Very
trauma.
unpleasant. Oh, I don't want it to happen to me.
And I've never felt so bad for the other detective. What's his name? Cole, is it?
I don't know.
I can't
Man
remember.
detective.
Man detective. He's so heartbroken because he knows something's wrong with his buddy, and he's just like,
Don't worry, he gets his comeuppance too.
They don't though. They're just trying to do
Yeah.
their job.
Yeah, they get the comeuppance for trying to do their job.
Oh, Michael. Some people get their comeuppance and you enjoy it. You get to see Locke get an L butterflying.
Yes, Locke. I tell you what, Ben.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I watched the film The Suicide Squad
Yeah, you did. You mentioned that. Yeah.
just recently.
It was only briefly
And-
though. Yeah.
Yeah, I did mention it though. And in that, it's all about weird little alien things coming and jumping on your mouth and possessing your body too.
Look, James Gunn has a fetish. There's no doubt about it. He's got a
I
weird.
think he must have been terrified by the facehuggers in Aliens when he was a kid.
Oh.
Although, no, he claims it's Starro, doesn't he? It's Starro.
That disturbed
He
him in the
read
first
that
place.
comic.
Yeah, he read
Yeah,
Starro when he was a kid, and that's what got. Which is fair. Like, it's a very disturbing concept.
Yeah, but there are a lot of similar images. So, the police scene where the police station is attacked by the butterflies, and everyone is getting the things flying into their mouths and attacking them. That scene is almost exactly the same as the scene where Starro releases his stars on the military in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the only difference between the pair is that one is done without anybody knowing, and the other is done with the very obvious starfish.
This is a big, huge starfish man. Yeah, big, huge starfish man.
It's very interesting, Michael. I have to say that final scene where Sophie leads the butterflies into the police station, very cool, very cool.
Some of the best some of the best musical choices so far.
We might have to make a mini video in the future, Michael, where this is a deconstruction of 80s masculinity, like as a show, because from top to bottom, this show, Michael, is just an astounding deconstruction of superhero genres and American exceptionalism, and I'm here for it.
Go on.
I'm here for it.
Go on.
Well, Peacemaker is your classic kind of brought up to believe that America is the home of the land of the brave and the home of the true and all that, malarkey, Star Spangled Banner guff.
Yeah.
You
Go
know,
on, say bullshit. You were going to say bullshit. I
said-
saw your lips forming the
I
shape
said
to
guff
say
because
bullfish.
we've only just secured our very sensitive deal with Spotify, and I
Oh,
feel like we could spread as much anti-vax codswallop, Michael, as much QAnon malarkey as you like, but the second we take a crack at the home of the brave and the land
Liberty.
of the free, we'll probably get cancelled. So we won't do that. We won't lose it so soon. But looking at the roots of Peacemaker, his father is a white supremacist.
Yes.
a virulent racist who still hasn't got his comeuppance mind.
Not even a hint of comeuppance for him yet.
Not a whiff of comeuppance, Michael.
He does have a very racist supersuit, though.
He does have a very racist supersuit, Michael. Very
He's
clan.
a super Ku Klux Klan. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a super Ku Klux Klan, Ben.
I just read a phenomenal book, Michael, called Ring Shout, and it's about the 1920s, and it's about a group of African Americans who take out the Ku Klux Klan, who've actually made a deal with the devil. And Ku Kluxes are a demonic form of being that hunt black people. It was really good.
Oh, that doesn't sound great.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's a really amazing novel. It's Ring Shout by P. Juele. It's really good. Check it
Okay.
out. But anyway,
Alright.
sorry, that's completely apropos of nothing. We got a lot of different scenes there, Michael, of building towards big moments, and we got the White Dragon suiting up again, with his
He's coming after him.
with his weird little racist. He's going to kill his son. His
Yeah.
son. I think the White Dragon's very bold, Michael. I think.
He's no good. He's a bit bad.
Yeah, I think the only reason that the White Dragon is going to win any part of this fight is because Peacemaker will pull punches. Because I think Peacemaker in full flow is actually quite a force to be reckoned with. But we don't get to see it much.
for sure. But I mean, White Dragon does appear to have a super suit.
Yes, I think it's probably the super suit that's going to be the issue.
Yeah, because Robert Patrick is a 60-year-old man.
Yeah, there was a little Michael, there was a little Chekhov's gun.
A little Michael.
A little Michael, a Micheline, if you
Yes.
will.
Yes.
And there was a little Chekhov's gun put in about one episode ago, I think, by Vigilante, where he came into the quantum folding space and he said, "Oh, there's weak points in the suit. It's no good."
Oh, very good. He's going to know them.
I think bloody Vigilante might come in a clinch, Michael, as they say in the pop culture world. And I think he might do a little bit of slicing and dicing. Because he does have a
Or
little
maybe
vendetta.
give him scabies.
Or maybe. I mean, it could be either. But anyway, Michael, just to come back to the jaw-dropping moment of watching the entire Evergreen police force be taken over by butterflies. Holy fuck. I thought that was so harrowing. Some of the scenes...
Very, very upsetting.
The
Yeah, very
zoom
upsetting.
in on Locke's face as he's taken over. Oh no.
Serves him right, though.
Oh no,
He was
I mean,
amazing.
had it coming. Great actor. So well done.
Very good.
Do you watch the little post-credit scenes in every episode?
Of course I do.
Yeah.
Of course I do, Ben.
Him pretending to be sad was phenomenal.
Very
It's
good.
So disturbing.
Very good actor. Very amusing.
Yeah. And I think, I don't know, what do you think's going to happen next, Michael? I'm very excited.
Benjamin, I've had a look at the episode titles, so I don't want to spoil it based
you
on episode
sneaky
titles.
boots.
But it looks like there's 2 episodes left,
Okay.
and it looks like one is going to be a showdown with White Dragon, and then the next one is going to be a showdown with the butterflies.
Okay.
Not that they won't link across or anything, but
It'll be one
looks
dealing
like
with the
that's
other.
the way it's heading.
Okay.
yeah.
So it's tight 8 in the end.
Tight eight, as we say, Ben. On the
Yeah.
podcast. A nice tight 8.
What I do know as a result of this very solid 6 episodes, Michael, is I'll be having more of the Suicide Squad spin-off universe if James Gunn wants to make them. I'll be watching all of them.
Yes, please, Ben. I will have as many as possible.
Yeah, you can keep stacking them up.
You can keep stacking them up, and you can take your Hawkeyes and you can shove them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a little unfair, but I think if you want like an adult superhero world, we're probably going to go with James Gunn on this one, lads.
So good, so good. Benjamin, I'm telling you, go back and watch Suicide Squad. It's put in a whole new light by this show.
Okay.
Really, it sings, Ben. It sings.
James Gunn, he's good at what he does.
He's good at what he does. He's doing good work, Ben.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I tell you what I would like to see, Michael.
What would you like to see?
Them scrap all this other superhero crap in DC and just focus on a Suicide Squad universe. Just do that.
Just work from there. Work back up from there.
Give it all to James Gunn. It's grand.
No, maybe not at all, Ben. That would be a bit much. But
No,
just
give
do
it all to
like
James
one
Gunn.
film every. Do one film every 2 years in this universe.
No. Everything for James Gunn.
Okay, everything for James Gunn. That's what we say here at this podcast. EFGJG.
JG. Yeah, you got it.
F
Yeah.
FGG.
FGG. Yeah.
FGG.
So you heard it here
That's
first,
our
lads. Hashtag FGG. Yeah, let us know what you thought of that when you get a chance. We'd love to know what people are thinking of the bloody Suicide Squad. So
I
get in
like
touch with us in a couple of different places. I'm not doing my wrap up yet, Michael, but I just thought I'd pitch it to the.
Oh,
I'd
the
do a little-
episode was over there for a second.
I
Ben.
thought I'd do a little mid-show call to action, Michael, just in case people, maybe you're tired at the end of the episode, you don't have time to get up on that Discord, baby. You don't have the energy, Michael, after absorbing lots of new information into your brain.
Benjamin, I thought the episode was over, so I was going to have another smug of tea.
Oh, another smug of tea, Michael. I see you're holding up
Another
the
smug-
smug of tea there. We might post
I've
that
got
to
my
the Instagram so people know what you're talking about.
Num 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 num. I'm having some smug of tea.
Yes, it could be yours for the low cost price of $29.99.
Oh my god, that's quite a lot.
It's quite a lot of money for a mug, isn't it? Anyway, Michael,
Yes, what is it?
Peacemaker, bloody good. John Cena,
Great.
so much range.
Oh, the range on that man.
Oh, unspeakable amounts of range.
He can do anything, Ben, from angry muscular man to sad muscular man,
He's good at muscular
To-
men.
piano muscular man.
Piano muscular man who don't write journals.
No,
Yeah.
didn't write them.
I did think we were going to get a butterfly reveal when Adebayo was hanging out with her wife. I did think we were.
Yeah, I still think we might get some big reveals, Ben. Benjamin,
Yes.
you know what else I've been watching, speaking of fiction?
Go on.
I've been watching Pam and Tommy.
Michael,
Yes.
good grief on that makeup job.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible.
So I have only just become aware of Pam
Yes.
and Tommy. Because
Yes.
once Sebastian Stan is in it, as Tommy.
Yeah,
And
he
then
is.
I was looking at Pamela Anderson. I said, who is playing Pamela Anderson? And my good lady friend turns to me and says, that's Lily Collins. And I went,
That's
"Isn't
Lily Collins,
fuck?"
Ben. I know, it's incredible.
But it
is
is.
really incredible.
They've made
It
her
is.
look exactly like Pamela Anderson.
It's stunning, Ben. And you know what? Funnily enough, there are full nude scenes in it, Ben.
Oh.
For both leads, and they've made them. They're wearing full body prosthetics, Ben, and I mean full body prosthetics.
I see.
So they've made them look like Pam and Tommy. How do I say this, Ben? To the last detail.
To the last detail, Michael.
To the last detail, Ben, if you know what I'm saying.
Which is difficult to reconstruct from a grainy VHS tape from the 90s.
well, there's plenty of examples for Pamela Anderson, I think.
Good.
And I think Tommy Lee will show anyone his penis.
That's the problem with Tommy Lee. Hashtag no
It's
good.
one of his problems, I believe.
I think that's 90% of what's gone wrong. But compared to me, what's it like?
It's all right. It's pretty good. It kind of takes it jumps around in classic prestige genre TV fashion,
Okay.
but it's mostly a comedy, I would say.
A comedy of
And
errors?
it's quite good. It's quite engaging. It's going to win awards for best hair and makeup for sure.
Oh, it has to.
No, and I was very Lily Collins. Excuse me. It is Lily Collins, isn't it?
Yes.
Lily Collins is doing an incredible job so far as Pamela Anderson, but the person who's really impressed me is old wooden block Sebastian Stan,
How's he doing?
because I keep forgetting it's Sebastian Stan
Oh, well, that's good.
and just buying into this character of Tommy, and it's surprising. You never forget that Seth Rogen is Seth Rogen, and you never forget that
Nick Offerman is Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman is Nick Offerman. What's his name in Parks and Rec? Ron something?
Swanson.
Ron Swanson. You never forget that Ron Swanson is Ron Swanson. But I keep losing Sebastian Stan. And then every now and then at the end of an episode I go, this is Sebastian Stan.
That's fucking mental.
I've never seen him doing so much acting before.
Yeah, he's got range.
Yeah.
Not
He
as
can
much
do,
range as John Cena. I've never seen him play the
No.
piano.
No, I've never seen him play the piano, Ben. And he doesn't do muscular man. He's this very skinny, gross man.
Oh, does he? He's a bit of a
Yeah.
what do we call him? Is it an endomorph? Is that the little skinny fat
A drugsman.
ectomorph?
He's a drugsman. He's a classic drugsman.
The lesser known sequel to Kingsman, the Drugsman.
Yeah,
Um,
drugsman. Kingsman is out, Ben. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it. It's supposed to be very
No,
good.
I haven't. No, it isn't.
Oh, is it not?
I don't know. I've just assumed.
Okay, I do remember distinctly, Michael, that you and I gave up on the Kingsman franchise after the gross, mean, and frankly vulgar sequel that came out.
No use. No use.
I remember. Did we go see that together? And the two of us were sitting uncomfortably in the cinema, going, "Oh,
Very unpleasant.
very
When they unnecessarily and unpleasantly killed off Mark Strong, I went, well, I don't care about this anymore.
completely unnecessary, just bad."
Utterly ridiculous, Ben.
You all right there?
Yeah, I'm just looking at a comic book out of the corner of my eye, and I think they've drawn too many fingers on Thor. I think he has 6 fingers. Anyway,
It's all
weird.
kicking off here at the tiny room, ladies and gentlemen.
We said it was going to be a filler episode.
We didn't say that. We said that for last week's episode. They can't
Oh, yeah,
all be
yeah.
filler episodes. Michael, speaking of meat and potatoes, come here to me.
Yes.
Come here to me. You know what world
Because
doesn't...
of Tommy Lee's penis. Right, very good. One of your best segues, Ben.
Do you know what doesn't have a lot of meat and potatoes in it?
The future.
Solarpunk, yeah, and the genre around it. It's not a whole bunch of meat and potatoes. So, Michael, come here to me. Today,
Yes.
what are the different punks you know as genres, Michael? Go on, give us a list
Oh,
there.
punk, standard punk.
Standard punk, good old-fashioned
Yeah.
punk.
You know, pink hairs, mohawks.
Yeah, they're classics.
You know, the punk. Then, Benjamin, there's cyberpunk.
Yeah, oh, what a dystopian genre that is, eh?
It's in the future, Ben, and everyone's got like USB keys in their fingertips.
Yeah.
And they're going jacking into stuff.
They're
There's,
always jacking in.
Yeah. There's our friend Shane's favourite genre, steampunk.
Steampunk, weird at conventions, Michael. But sure, listen, that's fine.
Everything's made of gears, Ben.
Everything's made of
It's Powered
gears.
by steam and imagination.
Yes.
Do I know any other punk, Ben? I think that's all the punks I know. Do you know any others?
Yeah, there's one or two more, Michael. There's diesel punk,
Oh, yeah, that's Mad Max and whatnot.
which is Mad Max and the likes. And then there's a couple of different ones. There's post cyberpunk, which we'll get into another time, Michael. And then that's about it really. That's about as much as we get. But Michael, come here to me. There's a relatively new genre on the block, a new kid, if you will, on
Okay,
the
go on.
block. And in the last year or so, it has become phenomenally popular on social media and the likes of TikTok.
Oh, go on.
So today, Michael, we're going to be taking a look at Solarpunk and its origins as a genre.
What the hell is that, Ben?
Yeah. So, if you take a guess for me, Michael, what do you think Solarpunk might entail? Given that we know that punk is generally a system that satirizes and inverts the primary energy source of its time or the primary technology of its time. So, cyberpunk is a look at a radical dystopia based on digital technology. Dieselpunk is
Right.
a radical dystopia based on diesel-based technology. And steampunk, you guessed it.
Cars from the 70s. Yeah, okay, I got it.
What
I'm
do you
with
think
you.
Solarpunk might be?
It's about solar. Everyone's wearing solar panels, Ben, and throwing solar panels at each other.
Yeah, everybody's got the little black kind of mirrory panel things on them, and they're kind of
Yeah,
wandering
yeah.
around. Yeah.
And there's one guy going. They're actually called photovoltaic panels.
I
And
think you're
everyone's
fine.
like, "Oh, you're fucking no crack, fucking Alistair."
So that's actually Alistair C. Gibson Smythe, who is of course
Yeah.
one of the titans of the sci-fi genre from the early '80s, Michael,
Yes.
and he created the classic "Rain, Rain, Go Away," which is a solarpunk fantasy. And just phenomenal reading. A little bit racist, but a seminal work of science fiction.
Work of its time, Ben. Work of its
Work
time.
of its time. Of course, I'm being facetious, Michael, but generally these genres have a defining text. As
Go
they
on.
go along. I'm going to get this wrong now.
Oh, very good, Ben. What's the defining text of steampunk?
That's a great question, Michael. So early steampunk is Jules Verne.
Oh yeah, I'm in the Nautilus. Let's go
yeah.
into the ocean and
So
whatnot.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or I may have that wrong. It's so many leagues under the sea, Michael.
Yeah, quite a depth. Quite far.
Gee, boy, is this deep.
Oh, let's make a pressurized submarine.
But yeah.
So deep.
Anyway, the way that
What's
works.
the seminal work of cyberpunk then?
Yeah, so that's exactly what I'm trying to find now, Michael. It's gonna drive me.
Shadowrun. Is it Shadowrun then?
It could be Shadowrun. I think it might be Shadowrun. But a lot of these came, Michael.
Johnny Mnemonic.
Johnny Mnemonic is a classic film example. It's one of the earliest examples on film. But as I pointed out in my not so great bit, Michael, there, these things generally have a seminal text. So the one that's generally thought to be the go-to basis of the cyberpunk genre is William Gibson's Neuromancer from 1984.
Neuromancer. God.
Neuromancer.
Should have got that.
And that kind of built up the idea of virtual reality and tech being built into people and that kind of idea. And then that was later taken, Michael, to extreme heights by animated films like Akira. And
The
Akira,
Lawnmower Man.
yeah, the Lawnmower Man, little hints of horror, body horror, that kind of thing with that kind of thing. But William Gibson's Neuromancer is probably one of the first examples of that. And then Diesel Punk's first example is more than likely, Michael, controversially, Mad Max.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, it's the actual origin of the whole thing. So what we have here, Michael, is something a little bit different from that, because Solarpunk, as you said, is something primarily focused on energy from the sun. And in
I was
general-
joking. Is it?
Yes,
Is that
yes,
what
yes,
it
yes,
is?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So if we took cyberpunk to be a future dependent on technology, if we took steampunk to be a future heavily dependent on steam, or if we took,
past.
etc., this is one heavily dependent on renewable energy. But it highly contrasts with the other examples because
What is it?
This is a kind of quasi-utopian genre.
Well, that's not very punk.
It's not very punk at all, Michael. Unless you put it in contrast to our doom and gloom climate anxiety at the moment, in which case it is quite punk to be optimistic. But I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I think some punks are on their way to beat you up in leather jackets with nose rings.
What's new, Michael? What's new? Every episode of this podcast, that's what I get. But yeah, so Solarpunk is very new. The first kind of mention of Solarpunk, because it was introduced on the internet, Michael, can be seen on Tumblr in 2014. There's an artist that made a particular... Yes.
I thought Tumblr was only for lesbian fan fiction.
Yeah, it is. This is a kind of lesbian fan fiction in its defense.
Oh, very good.
That's where it started. But Michael, there was a post in 2014 on Tumblr of a nice kind of Parisian street, Michael, and there were some trees in the background, and they were all in neon colors, Michael. It was very colorful, it was very nice. And the artist was asked to define their thought process behind this particular piece. And she said, I kind of think of it as solar punk, a world radically reinvented with renewable technology. And Tumblr ate it up. They were like, that's so cool. What would you say the main kind of tenets of your new genre are? And then the community kind of built it together, and they came up with this very quasi-utopian kind of world where everything was a little bit better than how we predict it to be at the moment, which is quite nice.
Give me some examples.
Rather than it being filled with cables and body horror or anything like that, what we get to see in this, Michael, it's not grim, it's not grimy, it's not a dystopia. This is a world filled with kind of Art Nouveau aesthetics that are combined with Asian and African ethnic stylings, so that you get you think Wakanda in Black Panther, Michael.
I was thinking Wakanda, Ben, in Black Panther.
Yeah, that's a pretty good shout, Michael. That's a pretty good shout. It's good that you came up with that off the top of your head.
I mean, I did, but you preempted me. Benjamin.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound very punk. It seems like they've co-opted the word punk. I keep coming back to this, but it's not very punk, is it?
No, it's not very punk. I mean, okay, so it isn't very punk. I think it would be fair to say, Michael, that it's not punk at all.
Yeah, it's not punk at all.
It's quite a hopeful vision of the future. It's a lot to do with ecotopia and saving the planet, and renewable farming methods and things like that. If you were to look at Singapore today, Michael, and the giant vertical gardens and artificial parklands and stuff with the stacks of green biodiversity and whatnot, those are steps towards solarpunk.
Right. Okay.
And heavily influenced is the genre by that. That kind of notion of vertical farming, using up the space, living a more peaceful life, a more agrarian life. That's kind of the aim.
This all sounds very Star Trek.
I think it is, but fundamentally different to Star Trek is that it's not. It's a bit more nomadic. It's a bit more tribal. It's a bit more relaxed on the space socialist end of things. And also, humanity is not going to the stars.
We're staying here.
It's one of the core tenets, Michael, of this particular thing, tenes, if you will.
Yeah, David.
One of the core Davids of this, Michael, is that we don't have to leave the planet anymore, because Solarpunk has kind of brought an end to climate change as a concept.
Right.
Right?
Doesn't sound very punk, though, does it?
It doesn't sound very punk,
nice.
though, Michael. It doesn't sound very punk.
Who's getting stabbed?
Well, you see, this is the thing, Michael. So because it's a relatively new genre, we don't have a ton of core examples. You know?
All right. Ben, are there any people wandering the deserts wearing body armor made out of solar panels?
No, unfortunately not, Michael.
Oh.
And I knew this is where I'd lose you. I knew if there wasn't solar panel sporting samurai,
Yeah.
I'd never get you.
Oh, Ben, imagine a samurai.
Do you want to
He's
write
made
one?
of solar panels.
We should write a solar.
Yeah, let's
novel.
do it.
Do you want to do it?
Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's
that'd be
do it, Ben.
great.
We'll do it, and it'd be a samurai, and he's got armor made of solar panels.
Yeah, the solar samurai.
Yeah, and he goes around wrecking everyone else's solar panels, and going,
'Cause he
solar
wants to be
panels
the
only
only
for me. He's seriously ahead.
I think we're going to write this, Michael. I think we're genuinely going to write this together.
Okay, let's do it.
So, there's relatively few examples, Michael, but it has been influential on certain things, and we have seen examples of it before the genre was defined.
Go on.
So, there's lots of different ones. One of the ones that slipped by us, Michael, is Treasure Planet from Disney. Do you remember Treasure Planet?
Didn't slip by me, Ben. I love Treasure Planet. Great film.
Treasure Planet is a great film, Michael, and it's been largely left behind by the animation renaissance from Disney. It was kind of the last in that line. I think it came out in 2000 and I want to say 8.
No, earlier, I think. But it was in that awkward transition for Disney from traditional animation to computer animation.
Yeah, absolutely. And there was a big change in that, Michael. But you'll remember, particularly one of the things I was taken with as a young man, Michael, when I saw it, was Jim's bloody solar glider. That thing was bloody cool. And it had the shimmery kind of paneling, the hexagonal paneling that looked a bit like insect skin or wings or whatever you want to call it. And that's a great example, Michael, of solarpunk. And it's a great example of solarpunk because it follows on from steampunk and gives it a little bit of a facelift. Solarpunk is very much, a technology for the future, and we see it in great visual effect there because all the sails on the ships, Michael, they're just big solar panels that use solar winds and solar flares. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's very spacey though.
Very
and a bit
spacey.
dystopian.
So we probably lose it there, and it's a bit dystopian-y, but it isn't always, Michael. There's the moon planet, the moon port. That's it's not perfect, but it does work as a community and as a society. Where it gets a bit dystopian-y is the evil space pirates. They're not.
That's
great.
a bit punk.
They're not great. That's very punk, Michael. That's very punk. And I mean, Long John Silver in that is very punk in terms of he's almost steampunk, but his technology is actually powered by solar.
Is it?
Yeah. So because that's the core power source of the entire planet, Michael. It's various forms of solar battery used to power different things. So there's a great little example for you. And one of the earliest ones that we can see very clear distinctions between other energy sources and renewable energy sources in a future thing. Although we can't really say the Treasure Planet is a future thing. It could be an alternate reality thing or, we're not 100% sure on that one, Michael.
Yeah, they never really get into it.
They never really get into it, thankfully. So we've seen some other examples of that as we go along, Michael. Notably, we had Black Panther and Afrofuturism. So there's an overlap there. Afrofuturism is a really interesting concept, Michael, and we'll probably have to get an expert on to talk about it at some point, because being a pair of white boys like us, we're probably not qualified to speak on the depths and nuances of something like Afrofuturism.
Benjamin, that has never stopped us before.
I know, but it probably should in 2022. We should probably start maybe.
It's never stopped us before.
Maybe we should start outsourcing our expertise. But anyway,
that means we're only going to talk about things related to Irish white people. What's your favourite crisp, Ben, Tato or King?
King, hands down.
Oh no, Tato for me.
No, that's because you're wrong. But anyway, come here to me.
Yes.
Afrofuturism is a form of futurism thinking, so kind of a hopeful bent for the future, but that is very deeply based in African cultures. So as opposed to taking on a Western colonized view of the world and how technology might progress using that mindset, it goes back to concepts of African, time, African values, African society, and kind of builds on those and how technology could help to benefit that, as opposed to the Western ideal of being very productive in a factory somewhere, if that makes sense.
Benjamin,
Yes.
it does. Benjamin, I am looking at some images here of Solarpunk on
Yeah.
the internet, and it's all very Japanesey.
Yes.
It's all very Studio Ghibli looking.
Has a lot of that going on, Michael. Has a lot of that going
I'm
on.
getting a lot of Studio Ghibli and Square Enix Final Fantasy vibes.
There's
from
a lot
this
of Final
look.
Fantasy in there too, Michael.
I'm getting a lot of that vibe from it, Ben. Is this a Japanese thing?
It's not a Japanese thing, Michael. It's decidedly a Tumblr thing, and it could be a little bit of everything. But it's decidedly a web community-based thing, which makes it quite interesting. So there are some other...
Are there any samurais?
I mean, you could probably make one with a samurai, Michael. We have our upcoming Solar Samurai comic coming out. You and I.
Yeah, very good.
We've spent years writing it, and this is the sleeper episode through which we introduce the world to Solar Samurai and the quest for phenomenal renewable power.
We'll probably bang it up on Kickstarter.
Yeah, we'll probably bang it up on Kickstarter, and you can give us money. You want to give us money, ladies and gentlemen? Go on, give us money.
Oh, we'd love a bit of money.
We'd love a bit of money anyway, so even if you don't want to buy the comic, you can just get up on that Discord and send us money. That'd be great.
You can't send money on Discord, Ben.
No, I know.
know how
That's why
Discord
that's why it's a safe call to action, Michael, because I don't actually want the viewers' money, and I don't want anybody accidentally sending us money.
Yeah, don't send us money.
Don't
please.
send us money. We don't want that. We wouldn't know what to do with it.
No.
Yeah.
Don't send us money. Not even as a joke.
We're not. Yeah, no. Seriously, this isn't a whole thing. It's no. Don't send us anything.
If you have to send something, you can send Madam Web action figures to Ben.
No, don't do that
Sorry,
either.
Benjamin.
That sounds awful.
We've gone off Solarpunk here. Back to
That
Solarpunk.
sounds awful. Please don't send me any Madam Web figures. So, Michael, come here to me. One of the earliest kind of texts that we've seen deal with the ideology behind something like Solarpunk is the Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler. Have you ever heard of this?
Nope.
Okay, so Parable of the Sower is a novel that came out in 1993, Michael, and I have had the distinct displeasure of reading it.
The long and distant past.
Yes, 1993. It's set, Michael, in a future that has gone all to hell. Society,
It's gone all wibbly wobbly.
yeah, society has pretty much, petrol is on the all-time low. Society has collapsed as we know it. There's no strict police forces. We're stuck in plutocracy. So big money companies have taken over and they're running the planet. If you want to be safe, you have to work for one of the big corporations where they take away all your freedom and you'll probably die in a kind of indentured servitude style way. Or
Benjamin,
yes.
Are you describing a dystopian novel or now? Bloody gotcha.
Very good.
Take that, Bezos.
Take the zing, got him. But in this novel, Michael, you have two choices. You can join a larger community and try and do your best to hold out against the world at large, which has gone slightly mad and it's deeply unpleasant. Some very difficult scenes to read in that book, Michael. If you leave the safety of your enclave or your community, you'll wander around kind of a dilapidated 90s LA, and you might get murdered, you might get raped, you might get skinned alive. There's some real weird stuff. Like Octavia E. Butler is working through a lot of stuff when she writes this. It's written from an African American point of view, and the main character of it, she begins to come up with a radical new philosophy or theology called Earthseed.
Okay.
And Earthseed, her father is obsessed with kind of foraging and self-reliance and this kind of thing. And because the world is so depleted on resources, he has lots of books about, permaculture farming and making the most of the land and this kind of thing. And this kind of knowledge is not common anymore, but she's been heavily influenced by that. And she has to strike out on her own, Michael, and make her own way to a new place that is safer. And along the way, she kind of meets people and talks to people and begins to explain her philosophy on life, which is Earthseed.
So it's an old polemic, is it, Ben?
It's an old polemic, Michael. It is. But within
It's
that,
an old
Michael,
Ayn Rand.
It is. it's almost naive to a point, Michael, when you read it now, and you're just like, oh God, imagine. Can you imagine thinking that we could save the planet through planting a few seeds? But in the world of the parable of the sower, it's absolutely fine. And it's quite hopeful for a lot of people. And the novel itself, Michael, is dark.
Go on.
But at its core is a hope that there is a renewable future. That if enough people believe in something like Earthseed, we might see a renewal of the planet. And I think in that case, it makes it a really great example of Solarpunk because it's set in a dystopia, but aiming towards something better. So Parable of the Sower is, don't read it like if you're not in a good headspace. It's a tough slog of a book.
Don't read it for the crack.
Don't read it for the crack. Read it for a really interesting look at, I suppose, Solarpunk ideology and, I guess, Afrofuturism as well, to a certain degree, Afro-American futurism, which is pretty interesting. But one of the ones, Michael, that I found most interesting while I was researching this is the Pokemon is held up as a great example of Solarpunk before Solarpunk was a thing.
You've got to catch them all, Ben.
You've got to catch them all, Michael. But the Pokemon world is vehemently anti-pollution, if you recall. It's a bit like Captain Planet, but with dogfighting.
They'll chase you down, Ben. They'll chase you down and they'll set a bloody Snorlax on you if you're doing any polluting.
So Team Rocket is the bad egg.
Yeah.
Team Rocket are the polluters, the corporations, the oil magnates, the all-round tosspots,
Yes.
And then everybody else is kind of getting on with it, Michael. We've got electrical energy that's kind of gotten from Pokemon, which is probably a bit ethically murky.
Some ethical questions about that, Ben.
Yeah, a few of those. But the world of Pokemon's energy is all, water-based, electricity-based. We don't have a lot of oil, Michael. In fact, some of the most evil Pokemon going are the Team Rocket Pokemon, who are kind of personifications of environmental disaster.
Pollution.
So you've got Wheezy, you've got Coffer,
and coughing.
coughing. That was it. Yeah, wheezing and coughing. You have Ekans, who's kind of the weird venomous snake thing.
This is a snake man. He's just a little snake man. He's not batty. Benjamin.
Yeah.
If in the world of Pokemon, if they catch you polluting, they'll send a Hitmonchan after you to give you a big kick in the head.
To give you a kick in the head. So, interestingly, Michael, we were all kind of indoctrinated into the idea of Solarpunk from a very young age. Because, if you play the Pokemon games, let's take the Pokemon games at a core level, right?
Okay, Ben, I'm playing Sapphire at the moment.
You're playing Sapphire at the moment. Wonderful, Michael. You'll notice that they often use their Pokemon to get from A to B. There's not a lot of technology to get you across oceans or anything like that. There's young fellas flying around on Pidgeots.
Sometimes there's someone on a Pidgeot, sometimes there's someone on a bloody Dragontini.
Yeah.
And then other times there's the whole gang of people on a ferry. And you're like, what's going on in this
Chaos in the
universe?
skies, Michael. Chaos in the skies.
What is going on in this universe?
But the Pokemon world is a bit of a technocracy, Michael, because, you have the Professor Oaks and the Professor... What's he called in Sapphire?
I don't know. Professor
Alistair. Beechwood. He's been decided now, so he's Professor Beechwood. And they're kind of the little mentors for all the young people, which is very worrying in a different way, Michael. Go out there and catch some animals and scrap. But it is a weird form of a Solarpunk kind of utopia because it's all based on renewable energy and getting along in a nice communal sense, Michael. So as I said, this has become a huge genre, huge on TikTok, with lots of different types of accounts kind of adopting it. Some of which are artist accounts where they design kind of Solarpunk utopias and things like that, so that you can see them. So things like what you were looking up, very, very, very Asian, very Japanese.
It's Professor Birch.
It's Professor
You were
Birch.
quite close.
Beechwood, Birch, basically the same tree. Not at all.
Different trees.
Yes, different trees, very much so. But when we look at that, Michael, so some accounts make kind of concept art for these things that are hopeful kind of reimaginings of cities and stuff like that. Other people are biologists and stuff that talk about how Solarpunk might be a nice way to combat climate anxiety. There are other people that talk about it as their own remedy for climate anxiety, because climate anxiety is real, Michael, and it's affecting lots of millennials and bloody Gen Zers. because a whole bunch of people, Michael, are very worried about the future. So
Oh no, not the climate.
well, yeah. So Solarpunk has kind of become a very popular genre with them because it touts kind of a better future as opposed to one devoured by technology or
Yes.
forcing us to give up parts of our humanity or become a cog in the globalist machine, so to speak. You know?
Benjamin, in my generation, we were afraid of AIDS and nuclear war,
Yeah.
and we responded to that by making Terminator 2.
Well, I mean, hopefully we'll get some cool cyberpunk stuff in the future. I mean, there's our upcoming Solar Samurai series.
Yeah, Benjamin, do you think he should go back in time and try and stop solar panels, or is he a goodie or a baddie?
I mean, we could do an anti-hero arc if you want, Michael. We'll have to hash this out with HBO because, as you know, James Gunn has really been in touch with us, and he's going to be in the next Suicide Squad movie, so we should probably figure out what he does. Right, sharpish.
Very good. We can't have him look too much like Silver Samurai, Ben. We have to really make those solar panels pop.
Yeah, we got to make sure they're good black and mirrory. You know, good black and mirrory.
Yeah.
But Michael, that's kind of. I'm sorry, I've run out of steam here, Michael. Have you got anything to wrap this up with?
You've run out of steam. Very good.
Yes.
You should have reused renewable energy.
I should
Benjamin.
have.
That's very good.
I should have.
Very amusing. Let's wrap us up then, Benjamin.
All right, Michael. It's a bit of a shorter episode this week. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen. But come here to me.
Yes, what is it?
What do you use as a form of radical hope for your climate anxiety, ladies and gentlemen? What gets you out of bed in the morning, apart from a paycheck, which is just about the only thing keeping us all going at this point?
Yeah, that's why we do this.
That's why we do this, for all the money and Spotify deals. But yeah, so tell us, ladies and gentlemen, what you think of Solarpunk as a genre. Is it a load of old guff, or is it actually quite an interesting thing? You can get in touch with us in a bunch of different ways. You can find us on the interwebs at www.seanrabeag.com. SEOMORABEAG.com. Sorry.
It means tiny room in Irish.
It means tiny room in Irish. You can find us on Instagram at Sure Look, Sure Listen Podcast.
Yeah, it means Sure Look, Sure Listen Podcast in English.
You can indeed. You can find us on Twitter at ListenSure. It's fairly self-explanatory. And
yes, what is it?
you can find us in a much better way, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to be part of a radical hope community that really talks about the best of things going on in the future, you can get up on that Discord, baby, where we talk about pop culture and stuff, and we actually just practice escapism more than any kind of actionable plan for the future.
Up on it. Benjamin.
Yeah.
There'll be no action figures in a Solarpunk future.
No, because plastic's no good, Michael.
They'll be made out of plastic, Benjamin. I'm against it.
You're against it, Sheila. You want plastic punk. Plastic punk or death.
I want plastic punk, yeah.
Plastic punk or death. Ladies and gentlemen, you can join us in a week's time where it'll be Sunday the 13th when we're recording and Monday the 14th of February, a Valentine's Day, if you're listening.
Oh, we did
so
a
we're
love
doing
episode.
We're doing a very interesting episode called The Strange History of Shipping. Shipping characters, Michael. That's going to be our episode for Valentine's Day this year. If you haven't had enough...
Ben, I dibsy not looking at the Winchester boys.
Oh, the Winchester boys are going to get some serious shipping. So do us a favour and send us in your favourite and least favourite ships from your favourite fandoms. That would be very, very handy. Get up on the Discord and let us know. If you haven't had enough of Michael and myself this week, you can get in touch with us. Or no, you don't have to get in touch with us. You can also listen to our other podcast, Collecting Issues, the bi-weekly comic book club, where we'll be taking a look at Nightwing, Volume 1, Leaping into Light, by Tom Taylor and an artist whose name I don't have in front of me. Damn it.
It's such professionalism. Who cares about the artists anyway, Ben? We're in the era of the writers.
Oh, I hate you so much. All right, that's it from us, ladies and gentlemen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you next week, assuming the solar panels aren't all broken by an angry samurai.